And there we go.
I feel like the countdown clock always gets us because, we do our personal countdown and then it's an extra 2 seconds on top of it to actually
Well,
go
it's
live.
the second get ready to go live thing right there that I have to click, and then it's like an extra 2 seconds. So we haven't figured it out. It's the third time, so like we're getting there.
We're getting there. Every time it throws me off. I'm juiced and ready, and then it's just anyway. Good
Hey,
evening.
hey, spring training's not happening yet, so you can get juiced.
That's right.
That's fine.
They're
You don't
not
have to
testing for that. That's right.
Anyway, welcome back to Tailgate Talk. Sorry we missed last week. I missed last week. Just a weird week. One of those times,
School vacation.
Yeah, it's school vacation. I don't have children or, anyone who works around that, but you know what? I felt it. I felt it in my soul. I just needed a little vacation from this. So we are back, and there's a lot that we got to catch up on. But first, quick funny story. I always, make sure when we start this, I want to retweet the link out, for my page too, just so people can watch it. And I go to type in the Guy Boston Sports Twitter. Accidentally clicked on Guy Bone when I was going to get it, and there were no results. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed in that. Like, come on, Twitter. There's no Guy Bone. Like, I expected something I couldn't retweet. Obviously, I expected something that would not be good, but I expected something. So I'm very disappointed.
It's a free handle for you to use, Andy.
Nice Guy Boston instead of I'm just at Guy Bone.
Could work.
So I have to throw in the S in there. We're off. We're already off to a real hot start here.
2 weeks off. Anyway, come on, let's go back in.
All right, let's go. That hurt.
So, to kind of start off the show here, I wanted to get into the Patriots. A couple updates since we last were on. Both good, both bad. Sometimes a combo meal, because starting with the combo meals
might be more bad.
It depends on how you want to look at it. Because Matt Patricia and oh my goodness, Joe Judge officially got their titles for their role that'll be in the Patriots team. Matt Patricia will be the O-line coach, and Mr. Joe Judge will be the quarterbacks coach. Now, I'm concerned about both those positions now because both those individuals who have very little experience. Matt Patricia was the defensive assistant at Syracuse, and I don't think Joe Judge has any offensive history besides being the head coach of the New York Giants, if you want to count that.
Well, I mean, does it count when he did the QB sneak on third down inside their own 5?
To be fair, you weren't expecting it, though.
No, Joe Judge is going to probably surprise us with what he does back.
You say that, and here's why it's the good news. He's not the offensive coordinator.
We'll never name one of those.
Which is, I'm hopeful, because it's one thing for Bill to play that game with the defensive coordinator and not actually name somebody. You have to name an OC. You have to. Because Bill's the de facto DC at the end of the day, but he's not an offensive mastermind, an offensive guru. So this leaves the door open for possibly somebody else to get that title, which is a very good thing because I don't want either of those two doing anything with the offensive scheming and game plan before going into a game.
To be honest, at this point in their careers, and we've seen them just outside the Patriot system, I don't really want them touching anything, to be honest. I hate the idea of Matt Patricia touching this offense. I don't want him touching the defense anymore after what we saw happen in Detroit.
Well, first off, sit up and show a little bit of respect, why don't you? And then second thing with Joe Judge, well, the better picture will be after Mac has either a bad or good outing, he's going to go sit on his little bench, and Mr. Judge will be right there next to him with his little playbook, flipping it left and right, talking to him. Every single game, that's 17 of those. That's going to be great.
Yeah, this could be a nightmare.
Moving on, this does, as I mentioned, leave the door open for the OC. So Adam Gase and Billy O are obviously still the two, I wouldn't say highballing favorites just because it's this far in. I would say that Billy O's got a good job at Alabama right now. I don't see him leaving unless it's for a lot of money. And Adam Gase is coaching high school football. So I don't know if Bill really wants to use Adam Gase. I'm hoping for Nick Caley, the tight ends coach. Saw a great piece the other week explaining the current head coaches in the NFL who are tight end coaches, Sean McVay. And then forgive me if I forget. There was all really good coaches in the NFL who use a lot of play action. That was the main key. Tight end coaches who become OCs use a lot of play action is a very, very clear sign. And with Mac, that's a great development point. I think they should use the play action more. So at the end of the day, Nick Caley, please get the job.
I would be all for that. And I think you see that reason because most of the high-performing offenses in the NFL have a stud or at least a tier 2 tight end. So, yeah, I think we're going to see that, and especially when we have Hunter Henry, we have Jonnu Smith. I would like someone who maybe is more inclined to use them. If I have to pick one of the two between Billy O and Adam Gase, I'm going to take Adam Gase because I think I've said it on this show before. I don't see just going back to the well and bringing Billy O back as a good thing. I've watched this guy screw up Alabama's offense, and he does have a cushy job next year. He's got a Heisman winner coming back. He has his wide receivers are going to be a little thinner than they have been in the past, but they still recruit well. They'll have guys step up. They just brought in the top transfer running back, so they're not even going to have to throw the ball. So it is going to be – he should have a cushy job there. Like, he should be fine. He's probably 1 year away from somehow managing to swindle another head coaching job for some team like a Jacksonville or something like that.
So I just want to clarify, you would take the high school football coach over the current offensive coordinator for Alabama.
He has a more creative offense, and I would just rather I'm not one of these Patriots fans who just thinks if we bring back the old, it's just going to work again like it always has. Bill O'Brien didn't win a Super Bowl with us. Bill O'Brien had Gronk, Hernandez, RIP, and Brady. Yeah, he can come in here. He can probably run a similar offense. It's not going to do shit. At least if you're going to bring in one of the two, bring in Gase. He might take some shots downfield, do some interesting things. He's a good offensive coordinator. He just can't run a team, and that's not what he's going to have to do in this case.
He's also got creepy bug eyes that I don't like very much, and I don't want to deal with at every press conference.
So did Steve Belichick has a weird face.
No, he's got a weird tongue. Get it right.
All right. He's still got a weird face. Let's face it.
So, but we'll see where that plays out. I still think it'll be Nick Caley, longest serving.
I'm fine with that one, honestly. I said of the two, I'll take your guy in this case.
Yeah, it's he's been, I think, besides who's the running backs coach, Ivan Fears. Besides Fears, he's the longest serving assistant on the staff. It makes all the sense in the world. Belichick promotes him within. We all know this, so it's just, I think it's signed, sealed, delivered. Just getting the final thoughts on the page. Other thing I want to get into real quick.
Urban Meyer. I'm just saying, Belichick and him were at a party recently.
With Urban Meyer?
Yeah.
There is no way in living hell that man is going to be the OC of the Patriots. There's no way.
Would you? I would rather him over Billy O. There, I said it. I would rather have Urban Meyer run the offense than Bill O'Brien.
Oh, that's a take, buddy. That is.
I will
be serious.
I will tweet that out immediately after this broadcast.
I'm just gonna let you play on that pool. Be my guest. Wow.
Trevor Lawrence had some flashes this year.
I think he had.
If Travis Etienne was healthy, he would have played wide receiver because that makes sense.
Didn't he go 6 games with 1 touchdown?
Yes. See, Ben Rhodes right here says me too. Let's fucking go, Ben. Thank you.
No. I don't understand. How about this? Forget the play calling aspect of this. Let's think about the locker room aspect. Do you not believe that bringing in Urban Meyer into the locker room would cause a little bit of a
Urban's not running the team. It's Bill. Just saying. They're friends. Urban's going to be he's pretty humbled at this point.
I would hope so. I would really hope so.
It's a pipe dream, I know, but come on.
All right.
All I'm saying, we watched Bill O'Brien literally destroy the Texans organization from within.
And we watched Urban Meyer not exactly build Jacksonville.
Yeah, well, it was already broken. He didn't break it anymore.
Maybe
he did.
Two more quick points I wanted to touch before we get into the big segment here. So Bill Belichick, thought I had earlier this week with Mr. McDaniels, the heir apparent, Mr. Keys to the Kingdom, finally leaving to go to Raiders. There's really nobody clear picture. I mean, I know Sean Payton's like the hot commodity right now, and then everyone's like guessing like, oh, in a couple of years he'll be that coach.
Let him go to TV for a couple of years, make some money.
Do TV, yeah.
Yeah.
But would you agree, though, there is no more clear, like, one-way lane for the next head coach of the Patriots, right?
Absolutely not.
So I think this incentivizes Bill to just next 3 years, you spend, trade, whatever the hell you can, build this team, do basically what Tampa just did with Brady, where you get everything you possibly can, trade first, second, third round picks. Honestly, God, just clear the treasure trove, get anyone you can with talent, and then these last 3 years, Bill, good luck.
I agree. No, I mean, this is the time to go for it. And we've talked about this. You have Mac on the rookie deal, and you're committed to him at this point. So, Bill, you have 3 more years of being able to pay Mac. Maybe not 3, but at least 2 more years. And you got to ride it out. Let's spend some money. We'll talk about the free agents coming up. We got to get the offense some weapons and absolutely go for it. And you know what? It might be pretty, and it's going to end ugly. I will tell you that much. We're seeing it right now with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and they didn't even give up a lot of draft capital, thank God. But they're fucked cap wise right now. They're an old team with no quarterback. Ali Marpet just retired, and they're about to lose half their team to free agency. All the guys who are actually important to them. Also, Antonio Brown
did that thing where joke.
I had to get that one.
Yeah, I truly think the last thing that's keeping Bill in the league is to catch Chula. Currently sits at 38 total wins. That's including regular season playoffs from Chula's record. And I think once Bill gets that record, he's done. So 3 or 4 more years, and then I think he's going to call it quits.
I can see it. Absolutely. It'll be interesting to watch.
One more quick point I wanted to make. Do you find it concerning that Josh McDaniels was willing to take the Raiders job over staying in New England? As I'm sure there was multiple reasons for him taking the job, but could one of them be he doesn't like Mac's potential?
I mean, it might be that, but I think you have to look at it like Derek Carr is maybe what Mac could be one day. We don't know. So he might just see it as a similar. What? He might get traded. Well, yeah, but that's not because of how he plays. That's just because of the contract situation where they're at right now. Like they're not competing anytime soon. That roster sucks. Outside of Derek Carr, you have Waller, Renfro, Ngakoue, Crosby. Give me much else after that. Colton Miller, maybe. They don't have anything on that roster. It's not a good team. Derek Carr carries them. Derek Carr, you're going to have to pay him $40 million. If you are McDaniels, now I think McDaniels' offense is good for Carr. He can be successful there. But if you're a team like Pittsburgh or even Philadelphia, maybe, if you want an upgraded quarterback, Derek Carr can take you to the playoffs. So
it'll be interesting. I had that, you had the head coach job and you had the potential quarterback. If you had those two things, I'm surprised Josh would leave. So maybe
the Raiders also, it's Vegas, new stadium. Mark Davis will throw anything he can at winning, and you're taking Ziegler with you. So you have a guy who, is going to help you run the team the way you want it instead of Bill, the overseer, running the team, running the GM spot, everything. So it's more freedom for McDaniels.
So we kind of hit the main points I wanted to get into. Just some other quick notes. Combine is coming up, obviously, in April, and some big news coming out that the early restrictions that were going to be placed in the bubble method for COVID purposes, obviously, were basically all lifted. Not all of them. I mean, there'll still be some rules, but for the majority, it'll be a normal combine, mainly because a lot of players were fighting the boycott and not go. So there's some news that we'll actually have a normal, fun combine to enjoy and watch. Other than that, though, kind of hit the nails on the head that I wanted to talk about. I guess we can get started into the free.
Quick point on the combine. As soon as those restrictions came out and the players even hinted at the idea that they weren't going to go, the NFL, you knew it was going to cave immediately because this is a moneymaker for them. They broadcast that thing the whole week on NFL Network. Okay. There was no way that they were going to stop top prospects from coming to that thing. And it's going to be fun, even though half the things we watch, which is really just the 40-yard dash and like the press conferences, only one of those actually matters for anything. I do love the bench. I love watching it, even though it really is irrelevant. Like, I don't care. The only time you care about a bench is if a guy does like less than 10 and he's a big guy. Then it's like, okay, now we have to be worried right now. But like, it's going to be fun. But like the 40-yard dash doesn't matter that much at a certain point. You just got to come out and not fuck it up, essentially. You know what I want to see? 3-cone. 3-cone. You need that short area quickness. I do see the quarterback battle. They're not. Half of them aren't throwing.
Oh, son of a biscuit.
Matt Corral came out and said he's not throwing, so I haven't seen anyone else.
Cowards.
Smart, dude. Corral's Corral has not done a thing so far this draft season, and his stock has stayed just about where it is. You've got plenty of other guys like Kenny Pickett is going to get his hand finally measured, and it's going to come in as a baby hand, and he's going to fall to the second round.
Small hands.
He's going to be – Joe Burrow's got like the smallest hands in the NFL at like 9 inches, and Kenny Pickett's going to come in at like 8 1/4. And he's been doing like – he's apparently double jointed. So, like, I guess it's, like, shorter, but, like, that's your throwing hand. Like, what, are you going to not double joint it? Like, I don't know what you're going to do. So, like, that's literally the most interesting measurement that I want to see out of this combine is literally just Kenny Pickett's hand size.
I just want to see Pickett's hand measurements.
Yeah. Couple fun ones I do want to see. I want to see Drake London's 40.
Yep.
I know I just said 40s don't count, but there's, like, rumors that basically if he runs in the 4.5s, he's going to stay, like, this top 15 prospect. There's a rumor he could run a 4.7. Then it's like, okay, that's bad. That's bad for
slow.
Like
he's a tight end.
Yeah, he's 6'5", 215. Not many guys are successful in the NFL at that frame. I think I saw a stat like since 2000, only AJ Green is like that profile, and he's the only one to go to a Pro Bowl. And now AJ Green's very good.
AJ Green's very good.
But that's like Drake London is that profile, and he hasn't been successful. So his measurements are going to be interesting. Patriots fans, name to watch out for. Linebacker from Wisconsin, Leo Chenal. I forget how to say his last name. Dude's a beast in run stopping, and he's going to be a monster on the bench. I expect somewhere in the mid-30s. Should be a fun one. He's probably not going to test overall that great, but he could be a steal for us in the second round. I know, like, there are certain guys who are really high on him, certain guys who have no idea who he is. I've started watching a little bit. This guy's going to be fun, and he kind of fits the Patriots defense. So, I know we're going to go into free agency and a couple guys we want to talk about, but that's one name to keep an eye out draft-wise. Maybe day 2. Might have to trade up, but we'll see.
Nice.
We didn't transition this well.
No, we did not. So we'll jump
free agency preview.
Great job. And we're going to jump into our main segment now, which will be free agency. And kind of before we start doing rankings and talk about other players outside the league, there is one very important Patriot free agent I think we have to talk about, Andy.
Wait, Dante Hightower? I'm kidding.
There it is.
Just fucking around. Yes, now we have to talk about the J.C. Jackson situation because I feel like going into the offseason, the whole time the thought was, worst case, we tag him and we work on a deal, but we're probably going to get a long-term deal done with J.C. Jackson. Well, he's come out and said that they haven't fucking talked to him yet.
Yikes.
I kind of get it, but I know a lot of Patriots fans right now are going to be pissed about this because he's the number 1 free agent cornerback right now. Obviously, Stephon Gilmore is gone. JC has been a huge player for the Patriots. He's been a ball hawk. He was one of the leading leaders in interceptions. I was going to say leading interceptors, but I feel like that just sounds stupid in the NFL the last few years. Obviously, he's a great player. He's done really well. He's graded high. And apparently Bill's just like not talking to him. And I don't know. I'll let you start. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not surprised, first off. I'm not surprised that the Patriots might probably want to resign him. Bill doesn't pay corners. I think Gilmore is the only corner.
And that worked out for about a year, and then he regretted it after that.
I mean, but Asante Samuel, Malcolm Butler, Darrell Revis, J.C. Jackson now, just Bill uses you, and then he finds somebody else new to come in and take the job over, which, I mean, it's worked for, almost 20 years, so he can't fault it that much. But my only concern, I'm fine letting J.C. Jackson, though, go because I think he's going to get overpaid. He's looking for, top-tier corner money, and I think he's just under that echelon of the top 5 corners area. I don't.
He's in that top 10. He's in the bottom.
He's in top 10, but he's on that top 5 range. He's really good. He's not great, and I can imagine Bill doesn't want to pay that money. Here's the issue: who are we replacing, Bill? Who are we bringing in? Who's the next guy? Because right now that's not clear.
I mean, the bright side is at least this draft class, it's a very strong secondary class, and Bill has shown he'll go to the draft and he'll get it wrong. He'll get it wrong 6 out of 10 times, but those 4 he will hit. We've all seen it.
He only hits on undrafted guys in corner.
As long as it's just not in the second round. Like at this point, I might be switching my, when I do my next mock, I might be looking at the Patriots like a Trent McDuffie or, a Andrew Booth Jr. in the first round of 21. We'll see. I don't know. I want Sauce Gardner, but I don't know if he'll be there at that point. That'll be interesting to watch. But I think Bill, you said it yourself. He doesn't want to pay corners. JC is going to cost, I want to say, I'm looking it up right now. I want to say it's going to be about 17.9. I think that's a number I saw for cornerbacks for the franchise tag this year. Actually, I got it right here. Franchise tag for cornerbacks is 17.29 295. So
no way.
Yeah, no. He's not going to pay J.C. Jackson $17.3 million this year. He won't do it, and he's not going to want to give him 4 years. He's just not going to. So, Patriots fans, say goodbye. Someone, probably the Jets, honestly, is going to pay J.C. Jackson a lot of money, and it's going to be kind of funny because they're going to need him. They need that secondary needs a lot of help, and I believe they have the most cap space in the NFL this year. I think they have like $63 million or something like that.
I'm just
or is
saying,
that the Dolphins? It's the Dolphins, I think. But Jets are up there.
Bengals could be in that window too.
They got to get the offensive line first. I'm not ready to send him a cornerback. They have guys.
They can't. They're not going to pay 5 different guys in the O line just to take over it.
I understand. They only need 4. Jonah Williams can go to guard.
My apologies.
I know. But no, I think Cincinnati, they need to figure that out first, the offensive line, and then they'll see what money they can spend on a corner. But I think Mike Hilton's back for them. Pretty sure Chidobe Awuzie is back for them. I think really the only guy they got to look at is Eli Apple, and that we don't have enough time to talk about that.
Want to talk about locker room guys? Well, damn, that's a locker room guy right there.
Hey, he's a natural talent, and
at Twitter,
he has some ability. He's pretty good this year. Yes, he got burnt by the Cooper Kupp, who had the greatest season of all time.
Thank you.
So, give him a break. He stopped Tyreek Hill on that 1-yard play.
Oh, jeez.
That was still sick.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, that was I still can't believe the Chiefs won for that. But anyway, let's get into these rankings. So what we want to do is kind of go through position by position, go kind of the top 3. Don't want to spend all night here, obviously, and you guys are familiar, but top 3 per position. Give you a sleeper pick, somebody who's, definitely not getting talked about enough, who I think is going to make a lot of noise, who could be a real value signing. And then we want to look at a Patriots target for every position. Yes. Are we going to sign a guy at every position? No, but it's never a bad idea to have some options there.
Never a bad idea.
Let's start with, honestly, the most boring group of this year, which it's got to be the quarterbacks.
Well, it's always the quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, there's never
quarterbacks don't hit free agency.
No, I think Peyton Manning did?
Yeah, and that was after neck surgery.
Yeah, so that was just kind of a medical mystery at that point. But a couple of the notable quarterbacks on the market. Jameis Winston obviously had a strong season for the New Orleans Saints. I think he went 5-2, and that's when he tore the ACL. He's running. Adam Schefter, I think, just tweeted out a video of him running with the anti-gravity one or whatever. That looks pretty cool. He's probably the best one available. You have guys I'll name a couple more in the top 3 just because it's quarterbacks. I feel like we can have some fun with it. Teddy Bridgewater, obviously, was starter for Denver this year. Okay. Kind of always as he's been, just okay. Marcus Mariota, backed up Derek Carr for the last couple of years. Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I almost said Fitzgerald, Fitzmagic. I don't know how he's going to come off that hip injury, but we'll see. He might retire. Who knows? Last memory we have him is shirtless in Buffalo during that playoff game, which was epic. Dude is a boss. But those are kind of the top guys. I know I said top 3, but it's quarterbacks. Why not? I got my sleeper pick for this one, Bob. You mind if I just I got to gush about him? And it's Mitch Trubisky.
There it is.
I'm going to make a declaration right now. Mitch Trubisky will be a starting quarterback in the NFL next year. No doubt. No doubt. He's mobile. He's got a good arm. He's got a winning record in the NFL. People hated on him because it was Chicago and he had some bad games. The dude's never thrown a pick six. He had a 6-touchdown game. Like, there's some talent here. Like, he failed in Chicago. So is everybody. So I'm going to say right now, Mitch is going to get another shot. And you know where it's probably going to be if they don't land a big quarterback? I think it's going to be Pittsburgh.
Well, Andy, I appreciate your enthusiasm for one Mitchell. My sleeper,
former number 2 overall pick. That means something. He went before Patrick Mahomes.
My sleeper might be a little bit of an oddball, but I just want you to hear me out. He's not on the list where you just listed, but I'm going to go with Colt McCoy.
I love that. Hook 'em, baby.
Hook 'em, baby. Guy's great at coming. He was great for Arizona last year. Comes off the bench well. He can win you games when you need to. He's the perfect backup, right? When he has to come in and play, he can win you the game, and that's exactly what you want from your backup, right? He's not good enough. He's going to threaten the starter. I really think he's going to be a great pick. I guarantee you, quarterback's going to get hurt. He's going to take over 3 or 4 games. He's going to win probably half or maybe more.
He will. No, he's been successful at that. That's why he stayed around the league so long. And the dude was a winner at Texas. Like, he knows how to win football games. Plus, he's just a good locker room guy. Like, you can't go wrong with it. So I do love that. Patriots target, I'm keeping it the same, actually.
Really?
I want Mitch Trubisky on this team. And I'll tell you why. Because let's say he doesn't get a starting job this year. Do you really think he's going to come into New England and threaten Mac? No, I don't think so. Patriots fans won't allow it. No fan base is really going to have Mitch come in and threaten their established starter. That's just a fact.
True.
If Mac goes down, I don't want a backup like Brian Hoyer, who is a statue in the pocket with a weak arm. I want Mitch, who has a lively arm, who, when things break down, has mobility to run. And, I'll accept the fact Mac Jones is obviously not as mobile as Mitch Trubisky. If your starter goes down who knows the offense as well as Mac does and does well in that, I want the backup to come in who obviously isn't going to know the offense or have as many reps. I want the backup to come in with something the starter doesn't have, which is that mobility. I want someone who can make plays with their feet because things are eventually going to go bad. So I think Mitch could be the perfect backup for Mac because he does add that element where we've lost Mac and we've lost this part of the offense, but we gain a new part. We gain a mobile quarterback who can make some plays. So I would actually love him on this team.
Respect. Well, for me, I'm going to go with Mr. Jacoby Brissett. Bill likes guys that know the system. Jacoby Brissett knows the system. It works. It fits. The guy's made his money. It's Andy. You've been a Patriot fan for a long time. You don't go with the fun pick. You don't go with the fun pick when it's Bill. All right,
Bob, you're doing what every Patriots fan is doing this offseason and just taking the old and bringing it back. Move on.
I've watched Belichick the past 22 years do exactly that.
Just move on. It's not the same because Tom Brady was there for those 20 years.
Move on.
Tom Brady was there for the 20 years. Let's get out of quarterbacks. That just pissed me off.
Go ahead.
All right. Running backs. I got to say the top guys on the shelf right now. Leonard Fournette, number 1. Guy's coming off a great season. I'm going to go James Conner as in my second spot here. Again, not really in order, but top 3 guys. He's been the most effective guy within the 5-yard line in the NFL for the last 4 years. I think PFF actually has a stat on that. Inside the 5, he is the best running back in the NFL. And he showed that last year because he got a lot of touchdowns and got me a lot of fantasy points. So I appreciated that. And then we got to go CPAT. It's Cordarrelle Patterson, who he's a running back. Is he a wide receiver? I don't know. But Arthur Smith unlocked this dude last year, and he was money. So those are the kind of the top guys that I've got there. Anyone else you want to mention here?
Melvin Gordon, definitely. He was
holdout wonder.
He was sneakily good last year in Denver, especially with split carries. So I understand he's a little bit on the overside. He's not going to get that full-time starting role, but when you need him, especially in the red zone, especially in certain play action and everything, he's reliable. And I think he's a little bit underrated, but he's solid. And then Cordell Patterson's probably, in my opinion, the best running back. I think I would take him over Fournette just by the usage you can get out of him.
That's fair. I think you got to have your offense tailored to a guy like that, though. That's the only thing. I think
but
you
it's
need.
So fun.
Yeah, it is. No, you just need a creative play caller, which Arthur Smith is, and it was perfect for him. But now, Melvin Gordon, talk about a tragedy. What a tragedy. He was so good, and then he decided, I'm going to hold out, because that's what running backs should do. They should hold out for new contracts.
How to do it for Le'Veon?
If you are a parent of a running back out there, or an agent or a friend, and that running back is thinking, I should do a contract holdout, don't do it. You will lose so much value because you already have like none. Running backs don't matter. I'm sorry. It's just, it is what it is. They're a nice thing to have for a year or two. You don't matter.
Jeez.
Yeah, sorry.
That
got dark. Okay, sleeper pick for me. It's Sony Michel, baby. He came in last year. He had his moments where he was effective. Now, to be fair, Darrell Henderson kind of took over that role for the Rams and kind of made Sony an afterthought. And obviously, it is hard to come into a team after training camp and kind of relearn an offense, obviously. So I wasn't expecting too much from him. But Sony Michel has shown that if you use him correctly in the past as a receiving back who you can get to the outside on occasion, he can be effective. And you're going to be able to get him cheap. And I think he could be a really nice compliment for a team. Maybe like a Denver. You have Javonte Williams. Bring Sony in as the backup for him. Like, that's a guy who I think you can get a lot of value out of for nothing.
I like it. Wish Sony the best. He was serviceable here in New England for a while, and then he got his ring. My sleeper, though, is going to be Rashard Penny. I think the dude has a tremendous amount of talent, just can't stay healthy. Dude, he's been battling it ever since he came to the NFL. Former first-round pick. And
God.
He's, yeah.
Do you think Pete Carroll says, like, after all these years, it was worth it for those, like, 5 games he played?
So, those 5 games, he kind of showed what he can do is the thing. So, I think if this dude can just get in the right role, in the right situation, and just stay healthy, he can kind of show off that reason he was a first-round pick.
Maybe. We'll see. I
know.
I can't get over the disappointment and the utter shock I had when I heard Seattle takes Rashad Penny, and, like, it was, like, in the high 20s, too. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?
Didn't make any sense. Patriots target. You start this one.
I'm sorry. So I think they're going to kind of look for somebody as a James Wright replacement. And I think Justin Jackson is going to be a great option. Great dual threat. He can run it, but he's definitely good at catching it too. Definitely kind of a good mix, a good combo to go with Damian Harris. He'd be a great pickup, pretty cheap as well, and a great replacement for James.
I can see it. You know who I'd love? It's unrealistic, I'm not going to lie to you, but I'd love a guy like Chase Edmonds. I'd like to change the pace back. I'd like a pass catcher because, as you said, we need to replace James White, and you talked about this. As much as I don't want to pay a running back, honestly, this is a position like I just named him because I think it would be a fun pick. I would like to go to the draft. I want to get a young guy. I want James Cook, Georgia, Dalvin's younger brother. Literally perfect. Rashad White out of Arizona State, another pass catcher. I want guys like that who just are going to come in. We're not expecting a 3-down back. We're expecting a 3rd-down passing back. That's it. That's all I want. I don't ask for much in this world. Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are a great duo. I feel very confident in that. All we need is that one last piece, which is the pass catcher.
Speaking of pass catchers, I think our next section will be receivers.
Yeah.
That was a good transition. Thank you very much.
I don't know. I'm just being a dick, so.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Yeah, that's all right.
So I'll take over here, at least for this section here. So receivers. So going into this, we didn't really kind of play into a role with running backs and quarterbacks. But we're going to make note after I list these top 3 people that the likelihood that these players will be franchise tagged. because number one is obviously Devontae Adams, but
He's pretty good.
There's no way that Green Bay is letting him leave for free. There is zero chance of that happening. Now, whether Devontae signs it and then we have that whole game is something else, but he's getting tagged. So obviously, clear cut number one, no exceptions on that aspect. Number two, we would say Chris Godwin. Yes, even with the injury, I think he's going to be able to make a full recovery before the regular season starts. He'll get a few snaps in with the offense. Might be a little rusty out of the gate, but overall, I mean, he is so effing good, and I'm not afraid of the injury. It doesn't scare me off. And finally is three, Mike Williams. Frankly, if he was consistent for his career, he'd probably be ahead of Chris Godwin. He had a nice little breakout year last year, don't get me wrong, but, let's see you do it again before I pay you.
Yeah, and Mike Williams is a guy, he might see the franchise tag too. We'll see what happens with the Chargers right now. I mean, I think we can't even stop at three. Like, there's so many guys on this list that we got to talk about.
It's really good.
It's really thick list. Allen Robinson, I know he's coming off the disappointment in Chicago, but
he tweeted out. Him.
Yeah, he tweeted out. He literally went from like 150 plus targets 2 straight years to like 60, and he was healthy for the most part. So they kind of phased him out. Obviously, OBJ coming off the ACL, that's going to suck, but the guy showed last year, if you take him away from Baker Mayfield, he could ball out. Michael Gallup coming off another ACL. Like, everyone here is coming off an ACL. It's stupid. But Gallup is coming off another strong year as well, leading up to the injury. You've got guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, DJ Chark out of Jacksonville. Antonio Brown is still a free agent. Just want to point it out. I'm not ready to
bring him back. Bring him home.
Honestly, look what he did in one game. His one-game pace with us is great.
That last catch against I forget which Jets corner it was, when he burned him on the cutback. Oh, at 33, he's still got it. He's a psychopath, but he still has a skill.
He's still a top 20 wide receiver in the NFL. No question for me. Hard to take 20 guys ahead of him.
Who's your sleeper, Andy?
My sleeper, the thing is, there's so many freaking options. Cedric Wilson.
Ooh,
Dallas,
actually.
Dude, when Gallup was out, when when they were dealing with injuries, I know Cooper had some injuries. Cedric Wilson stepped up. I think he's about to get himself a nice little payday. Dude, he can do it all. Out of the slot, and he's an effective receiver. So I think he's going to land himself a nice deal. A team like, honestly, get him to like a Jacksonville or somewhere who just needs help. A quarterback-friendly receiver. He's that guy.
I myself am going to go with DJ Chark. I think the dude, again, I'm going for somebody who's kind of shown that they have the ability.
And coming off an injury.
He's got a great frame. He's got size, speed, good hands. I think he really does have it all. And Jacksonville isn't known for growing a crop of talent or making use of talent in there. So I think if he just lands in the right spot with a good quarterback who can place the ball, I think he's going to blow up.
I can see it. All right, Patriots pick.
Oh, no, dude.
We need one. All right, and I'm going to preface this. We're not getting Devontae Adams.
No, we are not getting Devontae Adams.
So he is off. Otherwise, obviously, yes, we want Devontae Adams very badly. But aside for Adams, who would you want on this list? Semi-realistically.
Or do I think the Patriots would sign?
All right, let's do both for this one because I feel like this is more fun.
Juju.
Is he the one or the think they will sign?
I think they'll sign because he's going to be dirt cheap.
I don't hate it.
I do.
Why?
You got to cut the fucking TikTok crap off.
Do you really think he's going to get away with that here?
No, but
look what happened to Mac. He literally went from like this smiley, goofy, fat kid to literally just a stoic. Yep, we're here to play the game. Like,
no, he went to, what's your favorite Christmas gift? A flashlight.
Yes. Bill breaks people.
Bill breaks everybody.
Or he says, I'm not going to pay you unless you act like this. So, yes, that is a concern. All right, so he's the guy you think they're going to sign. Who do you want?
DJ Chark.
Okay, I like it.
He has first receiver potential, and he's going to be cheap.
All right, guy I think we'll go after. I do really think – I think it's going to be Juju. I think we're going to land him. Guys I would actually prefer – honestly, this might be a little off topic or a little off, but Marquez Valdez-Scantling is a free agent, and we need a deep threat. We need a vertical guy. We need a guy who can stretch the field. He's not going to be as expensive as all these other options. We can still go for guys in the draft. Maybe you get a quarterback-friendly guy like a Garrett Wilson or something. Maybe he falls to 21. I doubt it. I would love an Olave, but if we still need a deep threat at the end of the day, Scantling gives you that because we've seen it. Aaron Rodgers likes throwing to him downfield, and we have a lot of guys who can do a lot of damage over the middle. We have one good tight end, and then Jonnu Smith is kind of TBD at this point. We have Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne, who are possession wide receivers. We have all that. We need a guy who can get downfield and is not Nelson Aguilar. So
yeah, that last part is most important.
I think Scantling could be a really nice addition to the team, a really good addition to the offense, and you're not breaking the bank for him. So we will see there. All right, let's go on the tight ends here. A couple of the notable ones, and two who we'll see if they get franchise tagged or not. Dalton Schultz from Dallas. He's the number one guy in this class right now. And
so good.
The Jets are going to be high on him. I think that's like the rumor right now. The Jets basically, they want and need Dalton Schultz, and that makes a lot of sense. Gronk is a free agent. I think the betting favorite for him right now is Buffalo. That's a little that's scary.
No.
It is. It's like plus 550, but that's the best one. I know. Wild. Another franchise. He's not a franchise tag guy, though. One guy who is, and it's going to be interesting, is Mike Gesicki. And the rumor is that if he is still classified as a tight end, Miami might look to tag him. But he is going to argue that he lines up at the slot and he lines up a wide receiver basically the entire time he's out in the field. So he might potentially argue.
85%.
Yeah, it's something stupid like that. But basically, he's going to argue, I'm not a tight end, I'm a wide receiver. And then it's like, you're not going to franchise tag Mike Gesicki as a wide receiver. So that'll be very interesting to watch. I'll name a couple of the, I guess the most notable guys out there, other than those guys, are Zach Ertz and David Njoku. So we'll see what happens there. But, who do you like in this class as your side of sleeper, Patriots pick, whatever you want right now? I'm free balling it.
I'm going to hit a double one for sleeper / Patriots pick, Max Williams. Dude went crazy to start the season. Suffered a torn ACL, I think, a couple games in, if I remember it. And you're going to see the consistent picks here from me. Talented players who are doing well had an injury. That's what I'm usually going to do that. But yeah, Max Williams, he's going to be cheap. He was tearing it up in the tight end position. Showed his worth, showed his talent, and then obviously suffered the injury. But I mean, you're going to get him on a good contract for cheap, and he obviously has talent. So,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, we got another comment. Guys, I appreciate the comments now. This is really cool. Travis, if you think – Devontae. I think Devontae – okay, it was 2 comments, so I was really confused there. Goes to the Dolphins. They have the money to get him there. Is he going to be intrigued by Mike Daniels' offense? That's going to be a question. Rodgers to the Broncos. I agree 100%. Bucks are done without Tom Brady. Yeah, I agree with that too. And yeah, no, I'm with you on most of this stuff, man. So I appreciate you reaching out. I'll kind of, rather than a sleeper and a Patriots pick, I'm going to kind of combine them into just 2 guys who I wouldn't mind bringing in right now. And it's David Njoku, as I mentioned, Cleveland, former first rounder. The dude is just an athletic freak, and he's never had an opportunity to shine, but he's shown it in flashes that he can be a big play guy. So I would like to see him kind of get more of an opportunity. And obviously, again, he's not going to be – what's the word I'm looking for? He's not going to be featured in the Patriots offense, but he's good. You can get him for a good value, and you might get your number 2 tight end because maybe we move on from Jonnu Smith. Who knows? The other guy is kind of similar, and he hasn't been as successful because of injuries more, but Evan Ingram, I don't get it with him. He's uber athletic. He's had an opportunity, and he just can't do anything. But give that guy a better quarterback, maybe. Maybe not Daniel Jones and Eli Manning throwing to him, but maybe Mac can get something out of him. But the guy is a good athlete, and he can make plays. So I'd be surprised if he goes to a few other places and isn't successful.
Fully agree, Andy. Good choices there.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to the fat men. I just want to see your reaction. All right. We'll kind of combine. Why don't we kind of combine this one? We'll go the offensive tackles and the interior linemen. So the tackles on the board right now, Teron Armstead, probably the top guy out there from the New Orleans Saints.
So
Orlando
good.
Brown Jr. is out there too. He's a possible franchise taggy from Kansas City.
They have
to. They really have to. They can't afford to lose him, and I think that's basically a done deal at this point. A couple other tackles. Cam Robinson's going to hit free agency. I doubt he's getting franchise tagged again by Jacksonville. He's not really worth it, I think, to be honest with you. He's okay. He could start, but he's not a franchise guy. Dwayne Brown from – yeah, there is a bit of a drop-off. Dwayne Brown, he's still good. He's just old, but apparently the rumor is Seattle really wants to bring him back. Eric Fisher, Morgan Moses – couple of other guys. Trent Brown from New England. I don't know what's going to happen here. I wouldn't hate bringing him back. I wouldn't hate seeing him go. It's just kind of at this point. Couple of the interior linemen who we're going to keep an eye on. Brandon Scherf from Washington. Dude's a stud. Probably going to end up being one of the higher paid guys in this class. Ryan Jensen from Tampa Bay. He's a guy who he's on his last contract, but he's going to go for like that highest paid center in the NFL money. And I don't think Tampa's going to give it to him. So that'll be interesting. Laken Tomlinson from San Francisco, Connor Williams from Dallas, James Daniels from Chicago. Blanked on that for a second. Those are kind of the notable guys there. But who do you like in this group?
So sleeper for me, at the very least, is going to be Ben Jones. On the older side, he's
respect.
He's getting older there for a center. But he was a top 10 center in the league. He's been great ever since he went to Tennessee. And he's actually had better years as the years have gone on. So he's graded better every following year he's been in Tennessee. So been doing great. He had a little bit of a setback, just a tiny bit this past year. But
just a tiny bit.
Just a little bit. But I think most of Tennessee did. Derrick Henry, I think, has a larger effect on the offense overall, including the offensive line. Either way, I think he's going to get, obviously, for a guy his age at the position, he's going to get a pretty good deal regardless. So a team that just needs a good veteran presence on the O-line, probably a captain even, just to kind of command the O-line. I think they're going to get a good deal out of him.
I agree there. My guy, I'm going to, again, kind of more toward my Patriots pick here. Interior offensive line, we are set. We had 3 guys graded in the top 100 in Onwenu. That'll burp there. Sorry, it's gross. Mason, Onwenu, Mason, and Andrews, like we're set in the middle. Do need to address the tackle spots. Isaiah Wynn is coming back, so we'll see what happens there. But
no, he's not.
Is he not?
I hope not.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was not. I was like, wait a minute, he's not on my list. Riley Reef is a guy I can see who I wouldn't mind bringing in. He's right at that Trent Brown level. Like he's not gonna put us over the top, but he's gonna be a solid starter for another year or two. So I'm fine with that. On the inside, one thing I am gonna call right now. Number one, I wouldn't mind a guy like Corbett or Norwell. Austin Corbett from the Rams, Andrew Norwell from the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys who are probably on their last contracts too, would be some nice depth pieces, but they're probably going to get starting jobs. I'm going to call it now. Laken Tomlinson is going to the Miami Dolphins because Mike Daniels is going to go find his old offensive lineman. So I'm looking at this list. I'm like, I already know where he's going.
Nice. I would just add, it's kind of a boring one. I think our Patriot pick is going to be Trent Brown. Yeah, it's lame. It's boring. Boo. It sucks. But guy worked in this guy again. So I'm saying to people, works in the system, knows the system. He was successful in the system at least once. Injured last year. I'm just going to ignore that. He's also 6'8" and a giant human freaking being that I'll take.
You can't teach size. That's it.
You can't teach size.
No.
So I know it's boring. Moving on.
But I don't hate it. Like if I saw a notification that said we've re-signed Trent Brown to a modest deal, I'd be like, nice.
Nice. And that's the other thing. I think he's going to be cheap.
Yeah, no, because he's gone out. He can't be successful anywhere else. Just facts. All right, let's get over to the defense. We'll start with the defensive line here. Start with the interior guys.
Fat boys.
And it's a lot of older guys, to be honest with you. Kind of the notable ones, Akeem Hicks, Chicago, Calais Campbell, BJ Hill, he's coming off a really solid season in Cincinnati. I think Larry Ogunjobi is one too. I think they might have to re-sign him, but I'm not sure. I don't have him on my list here. But anyone who stands out to you in terms of Patriots targets, sleeper. I feel like we kind of got away from both. I just kind of want to talk about guys we want to talk about at this point.
I guess I'll stick to the top here. Key picks. He's still extremely good, even though he's gotten a little bit on the other side. I know he's obviously the top, guy in the market, so he's obviously going to be the best. But he's really good. He is strong, like an ox. Like, he's not just fat; he is strong. So I think clear away best. Not even a sleeper. Just he's the best. Clear away best player.
I would not hate him. He is that guy who's looking for his last contract at this point. So it'll be interesting to watch there. One guy I will point out, Sheldon Richardson. I feel like he's just always that big name floated out there that nobody wants, but everyone wants to sign for some reason. Dude's solid, so I will take him any day of the week. He's coming off he didn't play too much in Cleveland this past year, but they kind of rotate guys anyway. So we will see. Let's get on to the edge rushers. This one is a fun one.
He is a big one.
Yeah, a couple of notable guys out there right now. Chandler Jones, who is the all-time sack leader at Arizona. Von Miller. Harold Landry from Tennessee, who he's a guy. I was about to say for Harold Landry. I'm like, no, he's not. But he's a guy who might be a franchise tag recipient. Hassan Reddick, who I feel like he's not that good, but like he just gets sacks like the last couple of years. Like no one wants to like say he's a good defender, but like the dude gets sacks, so who cares? Jadeveon Clowney's coming off that year in Cleveland. He did pretty well. He's probably going to earn himself a nice. Again, these are guys who they're going for those last contracts because I don't see them getting much more after this. Jadeveon Clowney, Emmanuel Ogbah is someone I want to keep an eye out on in Miami. But look at this, Bob. Who are we targeting here? Because obviously we brought in Matt Judon last year, and that worked out really well. Probably still need a guy opposite him, though.
I personally love Harold Landry, third. Another Tennessee guy. He's just good. He's Belichick's perfect player. He does everything well, and he's available. I believe he has one of the longest streaks of snaps in the NFL, if I remember right. Guy's available, guy's active. He's good at pass coverage. He's good at run defense. He does it all basically. He's not overly, amazing at one specific thing like getting sacks or anything, but he's almost like that perfect kind of fix what Bill wants. And he's only 25, so you kind of get a good deal if it's a 4-year deal or whatever.
No, I agree. Don't hate that at all. Sleeper pick for me, Charles Harris from Detroit. Former first rounder of the Dolphins. Flamed out there. Just could not get anything done. Had one move coming out of college, and he couldn't get past it. Came just like a situational rusher, not even an effective one at that. Signed cheap in Detroit last year. Really strong season this year. He's probably going to re-sign with them, but that's a guy I would like to see us add depth with. In terms of like my main Patriots target, though, I feel like people aren't going to love this, but I want Randy Gregory, man. Coming off his best year in Dallas by far. He finally stayed off the drugs.
He finally stayed off the weed.
People care less about weed now, man. But like, dude, this kid was like a top 10. He would have been a top 10 pick in the draft when he came out. He was that good of a prospect. He just couldn't get his act together. Dallas takes him, of course, because Dallas always takes those guys. And years later, he actually panned out into something pretty good. So he's a guy I would like to see. If we are looking on the veteran end, I will point out Jerry Hughes. It would be nice to steal him from Buffalo.
That'd be huge. That's a sign. They didn't use him. Just sign him so they don't have him.
Exactly. Like they don't need him either. They've drafted a lot of guys too, but they could use some depth there. The linebackers, we're gonna be quick with this one because there's like one dude who's good. And it's Devondre Campbell. He's coming off literally one of the best. He was an All-Pro last year.
Yes, he's good, but okay. Say what you want.
What else? I look at this class and I'm not impressed by anybody.
Alexander Johnson was very good.
He's good.
And I think Kazir White is underrated.
I thought you said 'cause you're white for a second. I was like, what?
And I've been canceled, everybody. Have a great night.
I heard.
Twitter is already on fire.
How did you say that name? Say that name to me.
Kazir.
Kaiser.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's Kaiser. You pronounce the Y.
Kaiser, right? So
I
Kaiser.
literally heard Kaiser, and I'm just like, what the what?
My apologies
That was
on
a
that.
wild turn.
Yes, Mr. White is a phenomenal linebacker as well, who I think is a sleeper pick, and the Patriots should target.
All right. If I'm going to give you my sleeper pick, it's Leighton Vander Esch.
It's not really a sleeper.
I mean, it kind of is because no one's thinking about him now because he's just always injured. But if
He's,
that could,
yeah, he has brittle bones too.
but when he does play, he's a good linebacker.
He's phenomenal.
Dude, he's got the neck brace.
He's
The thing is, like, these guys, like, nobody here is demanding a high contract because Dante Hightower, I don't want him back because he's old. That's it. Like, I'm ready to move on. Thank you for everything, but like, none of these guys are either these guys are old or like you've got Josie Jewell here who he's just not athletic. Like, that's it. He can play the linebacker. He can play in the NFL, but he's not an athlete. Anthony Bonner is old, even though he's a super athlete. He's old. So there's a lot of options here, but it's not a great class. Campbell's the guy I want on a 2 or 3 year deal. He's literally coming off an all-pro season. The dude can tackle, so I'm fine with that. Let's go to the more fun one. It's the defensive backs. And we'll start with the cornerbacks because we have to talk about J.C. Jackson more. No, we're not going to do that. But he is the top corner. He is the top guy on the in the class right now who's available. Probably could be a franchise tag guy. We will see. Carlton Davis is the other guy who's probably going to get the franchise tag in this, if anything. We'll see what Tampa Bay wants to do. But he's available. You've got Stephon Gilmore coming off that partial season that he had in Carolina. Darius Williams from the LA Rams, the Super Bowl winners. Casey Hayward's coming off a season in Las Vegas. And there's just a bunch of other ones here. I will mention a guy I do really like late, Bryce Callahan.
He's good.
Yeah, no, he's been really good for the last couple of years. I think he's coming off a little bit. He's probably not his strongest season in 2021, but that dude can play. He's been a great slot corner. That's a guy I would not hate the Patriots to target in this case.
Very nice. For my sleeper / Patriots target, I got the combo platter here. I actually really like DJ Reed Jr. out of Seattle. His stats are phenomenal. He's short as hell. He's 5'9", which scares me for a corner, but he played a crap ton of snaps, so it's not that BS rating where his stats are good, but only played so many snaps. No, he played a crap load of snaps, and it's phenomenal. So I think he's pretty damn solid, and I would love him.
Would not hate that. Another guy I will say, Rasul Douglas is coming off a pretty strong season.
Yeah,
but I like him. Also, Joe Hayden, if we want to go the veteran route now.
Oh, God. He's like 34, isn't he?
He's something. I don't know how I feel like he's the guy who got drafted when, like, Tebow got drafted. I think he was on those teams.
Dang.
I think he was on those teams. Yeah, but he feels like he's, like, 40. He feels like Patrick Peterson, who is also a free agent.
Yeah, he's good. He had a good run.
Yeah. No, Pat Pete did. Then he went to Minnesota last year, and he was garbage.
Well, he got old.
Yeah, I know. He got old. Age hit him like a brick. That one was rough. But, no, it's an overall good cornerback class. I'm interested to see what Gilmore gets for a deal because I think the dude can still play, but you do have to kind of take it year by year with him at this point. You got to do that with a few guys. Darius Williams, I would be surprised if LA lets him go.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, they got to keep that band together somehow. Honestly, I think the value you're going to see out of this is Casey Hayward. He's older, but the dude can still ball. So I think
really well, actually.
You'll see him probably get a decent deal. Go on to our last position, which is the safeties, which this one also is pretty stacked right now. Top to start us off, a couple of guys. Actually, there's a couple guys who I'll note are possible franchise tag candidates here. And the number one guy, Jesse Bates from Cincinnati. Dude's so good. He's been a stud since he got drafted out of Wake Forest. And I want to say he was a second rounder, but he has been one of the top 5 safeties the last couple of years. Dude can he can make plays on the ball. He can do everything. So he's not leaving Cincinnati. They're not going to let him go. Marcus Williams from New Orleans. Yes, we get it. One play does not define him. He's been pretty good. He's pretty damn good.
Kind of does define him, actually.
It's hard. I know. It's hard to not to. Every time I look at it, it's like, dude, I know this guy's a good player, but man, I can't get that one thing out of my head.
Remember when you avoided the tackle?
Yeah. Remember when you completely fucked up that one time? And it would literally haunt you for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's what everyone remembers. The other, Quandre Diggs from Seattle, he's another guy who might be getting the franchise tag too. A couple other notables, Tyrann Mathieu, Kansas City. We all know the Honey Badger himself. And then Marcus May from the New York Jets, who he's just always been that stud who they drafted like with Jamal Adams, and then he stayed. And he's probably better. Because I think Jamal Adams sucks.
There it is. There it is.
Yep. What do I have to tweet out after this? Because I feel like I've had a lot of takes here.
You definitely have to do the.
I said Mitch will be a starting quarterback next year. That was a definite.
Over Bill O'Brien.
I would take Urban over Bill O'Brien, and Mitch will be a starting quarterback next year. Got it. I will remember that.
I do want to add to this, just Devin McCourty, whether we sign him or not, that's really a big question because he's up there now. If they do move on, Quandre Diggs is somebody I'd love, a pure free safety. Definitely, does not leave the final third of the field, similar to what Devin does right now. Don't worry about any of the inside the box crap. Just focus on stopping any deep balls, which is exactly what Bill needs out of that role. So if they are looking for the next person to take McCourty's spot, I think he's perfect.
I would not hate that at all. My two guys who kind of sleepers / again, Patriots guys who I would like to target, Justin Reed out of Houston. Yeah. He's coming out of Houston, so his value is automatically way too low. But this dude was a highly rated prospect out of Stanford. He can play. He's a good ball player. And then Jaron Kearse from Dallas. He's a guy who came on as a rookie out of Clemson. He didn't do much for a couple of years. He signed a one-year deal with Dallas last year and was a consistent starter for them and really improved the Dan Quinn's defense, which thank God they brought him back for their sake. But he's a guy who I think, again, you can get both those guys pretty cheap and you'll probably get mid-level starting value out of them, which I'm totally fine with considering we won't have to pay McCourty in that case. So a lot of guys out there. This is a solid free agent class. Aside for quarterbacks,
what about kickers and punters? We just gonna skip them.
Yes.
Sorry.
Draft them. Draft them. Unless it's Justin Tucker, I don't want to spend money on a kicker.
McPherson.
Yeah, they drafted him.
Yeah, when they better pay him too when it's time. That's all I'm saying.
Eventually, but they also could just take a kid who's probably going to be booting 60-yarders out of college soon.
This kid's ridiculous.
Patriots draft target. Matt, I believe his name is Matt Ariza, the San Diego State punter, who has like 3 60-yarders and I'm pretty sure 1 80-yard punt this year.
Is that the kid who's like ridiculously like highly rated? Like he's the greatest punter coming out of the draft ever.
I mean, punter Ariza for Heisman, man.
Is he left-footed?
I forget. I don't know.
If he's left-footed, I can see Bill taking a second-round pick on him.
This is what you need to know. He declared early this year. Punters don't do that. As a punter, he declared early. He knew this is when my value is the highest. He can boot 60-plus yards consistently. The fact is, in today's NFL, that is a weapon. Yeah. So you got to respect it. But, yes, there's a lot of guys out here. If you had to pick one player you want to see the Patriots sign, realistic or not, all right, fine. Just not Devontae Adams.
Damn it.
All right. One guy on this list who you want to make a priority.
Harold Landry. Linebackers a core need right now. He's young. He's very talented. I think he fit perfectly in Bill's system. I don't think he's going to break the bank to get in here because of his position value. He kind of fits. He's with variable system too, which I can imagine is at least a little bit similar, or he's getting used to how that locker room and how that kind of system works. So I think he's the perfect pickup if you're going to pick one player this year for the Patriots.
I like it. Honestly, and I didn't talk about him as much, I would like to see us get Allen Robinson.
Oh, big man. Like that.
Because we need a pass catcher, and this dude we could get a top 15 wide receiver for top 30 money because his value's tanked right now. And I think That's the point of free agency. That's the point of the draft. It's just getting as much value as you can out of these guys, because then I don't think the Patriots are going into this into free agency with a ton of like major, we need multiple player needs. Like, we need depth at a lot of different positions. And I feel like if you make Allen Robinson the guy you sign on offense, you can pay a guy like J.C. Jackson, which I wouldn't mind bringing back. Even though I do think he's gone, I'm going to say it. I think he ends up with the Jets.
Oh, man.
I know it'll suck, but like those are like my early predictions. Like, just going through this list, like Devontae Adams will end up back in Green Bay. Dalton Schultz will end up with the Jets, and J.C. Jackson will end up with the Jets, and Laken Tomlinson to Miami. I'll just put out an article where I just make predictions that will all be wrong.
Let me just put out a regular article.
Hurtful, but fair. Hey, I had like 8 or 9 picks last year right in the draft, so just gonna say it. That's like a high percentage. Oh God! All right, we might need to we need to call it at that point, because I'm just gonna start like getting mad at myself.
I'm just gonna move on from the joke. I think we did pretty good here. I think we have a solid list out. I think we have some good expectations for free agency, and I feel pretty good.
The fact is, we don't have a ton of money to spend, so we're going to have to make some cuts either way. So we're probably going to end up being disappointed this year after last year's huge spending spree. Kind of, not that it fucked us, but like it might have fucked us a little bit.
I mean, it's how it's. I mean, you spend a lot of money one year, you don't spend it the next. Yeah.
Draft capital and trades. That's what we need right now. We will see what happens. The combine is set in what? How long is the combine? 2 days from now? They report this week. I should know this too, and I'm just so bad with dates. But combine should start. The bright side of the combine is
March 1st.
March 1st. Perfect. So tomorrow.
Literally tomorrow.
The bright side of the combine. This is the first time all year, aside for the Senior Bowl when things can't really happen, all the GMs are in one spot together.
Ooh.
I saw someone tweeted this. I'm going to steal it, but a trade will probably be announced, or at least it's going to happen at that point. Like, a trade will happen at some point during this combine, because there's too many quarterbacks on the market, and somebody's going to get cold feet and decide, I need to do it now. I need to make this move. We're going to see Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, I think, is staying. Who else can I think of? Who else is on the market right now? Those are like the big 3.
Yeah.
Not Baker. He's not moving. Kyler's staying. Kyler.
You sure?
For those of you, if you saw the note that hit the press release his agent put out, the whole thing, Kyler is apparently, he's been told he's like a finger pointer and like a whiny baby and stuff like that. So naturally, his agent puts out a statement which points the finger and the blame at the Cardinals, which is just like, what are you doing?
So you point and complain, like just man. That's all it is.
Kyler, you haven't earned it. Lamar Jackson deserves more than you, and Lamar Jackson doesn't deserve a long-term contract at this point. So, man. All right, we're just starting to spew nonsense now. So thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week, or at least hopefully I won't have a bad week then. And we'll come up with some other shit. Like, tell us what you want to hear.
Damn right.
All right. Peace out.